Let's go ahead and move on and talk about while we were in Kuwait, Capcom dropped a little teaser and was like, "Hey, look, Street Fighter V symbol, logo with a staff behind it," and everyone's like, "Oh, is Falke finally showing up?" Falk, you're right. And then, sure enough, on the it was on the flight home while we were flying home, they unleashed the trailer.
Correct.
And so we were finally able to see that. And so Falk is going to be the next character released next week, I believe.
Yes, correct.
Next week. Okay. And so, what did you think of the trailer?
Hold on. Somebody who I've told in the past that I can't accept texts or messages or calls during this time has not taken the message. So
it's definitely, trying to contact you. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways. So first off, animations, right? Got to talk about it. It's right up front. Bad.
Dude, some of those animations are, like, literally it looks like her standing light punch. She just has the staff behind her and she just rotates it forward and then puts it back.
Correct.
It looks awful.
There's maybe standing medium kick, something like that. Is like a little sort of step kick, but it's just like,
yeah,
It's... Boy.
I don't know what happened. I mean, a lot of people are saying she's supposed to be, like serious and the psycho power is doing all the work for her or whatever. There's lots of ways you could demo that without doing it the way they did.
I didn't get that impression from watching it.
Right, exactly. It looked just more like lazy animation.
Correct.
Right? So, yeah.
The super...
Dude, the critical art is the most, like, it's bad. It's like on the levels of college, like intern.
Dang.
Kind of like, hey, you need to do an animation. All right, let's do this animation.
Dang.
Because literally there is no momentum in the way she goes up into the sky. And then she goes up into the sky. She launches into the sky after the person. So you expect her to go up there and go.
She can do something sick, yeah.
Yeah, no, she floats up and stops.
She just stops.
She stops and looks at him and then does a really sad swing. And then another second really sad swing after the sad initial swing. Which doesn't even look... I mean, like, I get it. It's supposed to be a golf swing, right? It looks just like a golf swing. But even as a golf swing, it looks like my first golf swing animation.
Boy. And also, why did she knock you up there?
Right.
I mean, like, she could do the couple hits without knocking you up there. Right? So like when I first saw that she launched them up, I was thinking, as you said, she's going to come up and hit them on the way up. But there's no reason for her to have gone up into the sky at all. So it's gnarly. It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I was even saying, like, if you look at Guilty Gear, like even when you hit someone with the dust and it changes the camera angle and the characters, like even Johnny, just like, they don't even like move that much. He just puts his hand on his hat for a few frames, and then he just goes from 0 to 60 instantly and starts going up. There's no momentum build there, but there's just that pause that's long enough and the angle that gives it an illusion that something's happening, right? Whereas Falke, when she goes up, it's literally like the pole touches the ground and you literally hear like a boop, like it's the softest noise ever, and then she just starts rotating up. And it makes no sense. Like I was saying, they could have animated her running for like half a second, see a big close-up of the staff hitting the ground going,
that would have been cool.
And then just cut to that same rising animation, and it would have made that much more sense.
It would be nicer.
It would have made that much more sense. I
remember, this maybe was in late SF4. I remember talking with you about how many Ultras were launched up into the sky, and it was like almost all of them were like launch up into the sky, then something happens. Right? Isn't it like almost every single one in SF4?
Yeah.
And then in SF5, I've never really thought about it. I don't think there's as many of them, right? But there are still some, and especially this one where it's just launch up into the sky for who knows why. And so animations are not great, and it's continuing the trend of who's out now? Sakura, Blanca. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And now Falk. None of them are good in season 3, and it's contrasted with the end of season 2, which were great, awesome. Zeku has excellent ones.
Right.
Abigail, Manat, they look great.
I mean, Blanca, I'll give a little bit of a pass to. There's definitely some a little bit, kind of. I mean, compared to Falke and Sakura, I'll give a little pass to. But maybe I'm just. Because all I ever see is the costume, and the costume makes everything look normal.
The costume is excellent. I cannot disagree with that.
But I'm worried now because Cody's
probably next.
come out, and they might look
Cody might be terrible.
really awful. I mean, I made a little video edit. I don't know if you even saw it. Like, I put out a video edit where I took the Falke trailer where she does the V-Trigger 1 stuff, and I stretched all the wind-ups, and I sped up all the attacks.
Okay.
And, like, it's very subtle. It's hard to tell the difference, but you can't fix it that directly that way without changing the poses. But already it felt like it had more of a pop to me. Like, it felt like things snapped a little bit better. Like I said, it's really subtle. It's hard to say, but, like, I just think subconsciously it just made it look that much better. So, I don't know. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, it sucks. And yeah, look, it's not for sure that Cody, etc., are going to be weird looking, because the end of season 2 was definitely better looking than before. I didn't think that the start of season 2 was horrible, right? I don't think it started any worse than any of the rest of SF5.
Right.
But the end of SF5 season 2 was definitely better. So, you know, that was 3 characters. Now we have 3 characters in season 3. I don't know like how they make them, obviously, but maybe it's like 3 different characters per team or whatever. I don't know.
Dude, if they can get the original 3, they get the team that did the Minat, Abigail, Zeku trio to do Cody, G, and Sagat. I will, please.
I hear that.
Because they can't keep doing what they're doing right now. Because, I mean, honestly, I know there's a lot of people out there who said, like, Falke doesn't look that terrible. And I'll agree. She doesn't look awful. And when you separate things like that I don't know which attack this was, but it reminds me of a lot of Sakura's animations where it just looks like she just happens to be swinging a stick, and if you got walked in the way, she hits you.
Right.
But it doesn't look like there's any impact to it at all, right? But, like, if you just see her swing it and then let the animation play out and she does this fancy stuff, it looks great. But it's just, the actual animation is bad because it's literally, as opposed to, snap. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. One of the main principles of animation is build up and snap. And Falke has none of that. Everything is animated too smoothly. It's like the people who animate it just know how to animate, but they don't understand how to evoke the emotions out of the animations. You know, so I don't know.
I hear you, dude. I hear you. It's not great. Anything else to say about the graphical side of it?
No.
Okay, did you see Winter Stays On or Capcom Unity streams today?
I saw pieces of it. I saw highlights of it. I saw high fights of it. So I saw a bunch of little pieces like that. And from what I saw, I was kind of excited because she actually seems like she might be a zoner, which surprised me. I didn't think she was going to be a zoner at all. And I think that's cool if it turns out to be true, that she actually plays a good zoning style.
Yeah, and I really like some things about her. I mean, at least from what I've seen so far, just having watched these couple of streams. I agree that she does seem like a zoner, like a defensive zoner.
Right.
She has, but it's different than like Minat style zoning, which is kind of, it's more Dalsamy, right? Minat. So like there are, in my mind, a couple of main types of zoners. There's like Dalsam or Guile.
Right.
Right. And those are very different styles of zoning. One is more active. I like Dalsam style because you're pressing buttons more often. But there's the projectile kind, which is Guile, and I feel like she's that. So she's like, it's not a charge move obviously, but it's about projectile zoning and looking for anti-airs. Right. That's really what it seems like it's about. And she seems to have a good projectile, especially the low one that goes full screen. That's fast. Right. And ducks under
everything.
It seems like everything.
Yeah. It just looks like she shoots under sonic booms and everything. So yeah.
Right. She also has the charge up fireball, which seems like it's good. She has sick anti-airs. They seem really strong. Both Crouching Fierce as just like a fast anti-air button, and also her special move where she like brings the stick up. Right.
Doesn't she have like true upper body invincibility or maybe jump invincibility or something?
I don't know if they said that or not. I didn't hear it. Well, I'm not sure you're wrong. I didn't.
Right.
I don't know. But in any case, it did look like a very strong anti-air. And then she also has an EX invincible move, right? The EX, this thing is invincible. Her V-Trigger 1 seems like it buffs the projectile zoning. It kind of like goes into like the scatter shot.
And then now it bounces off the floor and stuff. Yeah.
So that definitely all looks cool. I'm excited for that because SF5, hasn't really had many zoners. So Dalsam is in there, but he's less zoning than in the past. Manat, I feel like, is the actual Dhalsim of the game.
Right.
Guile is a good Guile. He's a good Guile type zoner.
Right.
So to have another one now, I think is great because there's only a few in the whole game, and I think that's awesome.
I was surprised she had projectiles at all. Like, you saw her in the intros and everything. She has a staff, and all of a sudden she's shooting out of it, and I was like, whoa, this is interesting. This is different to me. But again, I was about to go into the animations again. Okay, anyways, we already talked about that. So, I'm just sad that there's just no dynamic posing.
Dude, I know. I mean, I get it.
I in my first tweet, I said it feels very kind of like Injustice, like, you know what I mean? Like, if Catwoman's going to do a whip, she just does whip.
Right.
Right? And so if Falke's going to shoot, she just shoots.
Shoot.
But there's no, like, kind of, like, it would have been cool.
A little bit extra flair.
Yeah, like, dynamic flair on things, But Oliver normal, she just looks like she rotates.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Anyways.
She seems to have some useful links. Like I said, great anti-air. She seems to have some good buttons. I don't know what the commands are for any of these things, but maybe it was like fierce or forward fierce. Seemed like it was a good ranged staff. Crouching strong seems like it's a good ranged button. So she has tools, And then V-Trigger 2 is, well, I don't know exactly how it works, but I saw that it has an overhead in it. Like you press it and you do.
But the initial activation, doesn't it like swing, hit, and then does this thing? Yeah. Okay. And you can combo super after it. Apparently,
yeah, you can.
So.
Anyway, so I think that's cool. It seems like it's a slow overhead, but you can combo out of it, and it's plus on block. So maybe not so important that it's an overhead, but more like just to give you frame advantage to pressure. So if she has two significantly different V-triggers that you might use in different matchups, then that'd be awesome. All right, the zoning one versus characters you want to keep out. And then you got the pressure one if you need to get in. Like, I think that could be really cool.
Right. And it looks like all of her special moves are very similar to Ed. That they're mostly like 2 kicks, 2 punches, and then like hold punch and release and stuff like that. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because that can change a lot, right? Like if the staff gun, for example, is just quarter circle forward, that's going to be really good. But if it's like, oh, I have to hold a button down and let go to shoot it.
I think that is the case for the regular gun.
Okay, so that might make it a little bit harder to use, etc.
But I think the low gun is a command.
Oh, I think that's like 2 kicks or something like that.
Two kicks is the one where she like kind of does she kicks. She's like a kick. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not sure. Let me know. I actually don't know what the low one is. I just assumed it was a command. Let us know if anybody does know. But she has like the Ed EX Psycho Upper, which is invincible like immediately. It's just it's like an old school lariat,
right? Where
you're just full body invincible instantly, so you can use it to react to things in a way that is harder to do with other invincible special moves.
I mean, Falke's not really Ed's sister, but they're part of the same team. That's why she dresses very similar to him. So they've got the same They've got that interesting Shadaloo outfit. Their default costumes look very similar. So
it's crouching 2 punch. Got it.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. So the gunshots were negative hold punches. Interesting. That's going to make her a really interesting zoner then. You're going to have to do a lot of careful. So, for example, if the heavy punch one is the one that shoots at a particular good angle, you're going to lose the long poke, for example, right? So, I'd be curious to see how that works with her.
She seems like an interesting character gameplay-wise. So, I'm looking forward to it, I feel like most of the characters have been interesting gameplay-wise, especially as the game has developed.
Right.
I feel like more of the DLC characters, especially later on, have been willing to take risks and be unique and stuff.
So obviously, Zeku was kind of strange until just the recent patch. Like, he wasn't really fulfilled.
But he got super sick in the recent patch.
In the recent patch, he got super sick. But Abigail and Manat were already pretty sick.
Yeah.
And Ed was cool because of the different inputs. Colleen was pretty different. Was very unique. And then here, even in Season 3, Sakura, maybe not as much, but Blanca, I thought, was definitely a little more interesting.
Yeah, they did things with Blanca that he hadn't had in the past, which is cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, Sakura's just inherently boring, and I don't understand why anybody cares about her at all. But Blanca at least has interesting stuff. And now, I think so does Falk. So she comes out next week. We'll see how she plays when that actually happens. It's obviously hard to get a good idea for how strong a character is until you really sit down and spend some time with them.
Right.
But just having seen it today on the streams, I do think that she looks like she could have strength. Right? I'm not going to be definitive about it, but it seemed like she has some ideas that could be useful, that she has some good tools. So.
Right. Yeah, it could be. There always is that kind of little thing where it seems like a lot of the DLC characters don't become as viable until the next season, right? So like Guile and Balrog were good, and Urien were good, but then in season 2 they were like, oh my god.
They got
Same
better.
thing with Ibuki, right? They all
that's
became
true.
better in season 2.
They were already all good.
Yeah.
But you're right, they did get better.
Right, but then even like Abigail and Manat, like they were good, but then in season 3 they got better.
You're right.
So it always seems like there is that kind of, and Colleen, same thing.
Colleen
she was
too.
good in 2, and then she got better in 3.
You're right.
So there you go. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that she plays differently enough. I hope she adds a new take to the game.
Yeah.
You know, so people can really learn what it's like to fight against a zoner in this game.
Agreed. I like I said, I like some of the ideas. I hope that what happens is not going to be like what happened with Ed. I thought at first he looked like he was a fireball zoner, but I think that was wrong.
Yeah.
So it could be that Falk ends up just being a regular kind of mid-rangey character, but I hope that that's not true. I do hope that she has more of a zoning aspect to her.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Anyway, yeah, the only problem with Sakura is that she is just totally uninteresting and boring. I mean, other than that.
And then the worst part about it is then they added those bad animations to her on top of everything,
God, you know.
right? So
Yeah.
at least she used to, like when she did the electric slide or whatever,
I feel like she still has that after she wins a round. She still has an animation. Is it bad? Oh yeah. I feel like it's
the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's not quite as good. Yeah. A lot of the stuff that she has just doesn't quite feel the same. It really feels like a older, less limber Sakura,
Well, maybe so. Maybe so.
Dude,
yeah, I don't actually hate Sakura. I don't think she's interesting at all, but I feel like there are less interesting characters.
Yeah.
That's not true. She's among the least interesting to me. But
I've never been that big into Sakura.
I don't hate her. Some characters I think are dumb. Like I actively think are stupid. I don't actively think she's dumb or stupid. I just think that she is without interest.
Like, I actually like Karen a lot more than Sakura because at least she played kind of that rival and had like an interest. And then, she was snooty and had a personality.
Yeah, sure.
Sakura was just like...
There's nothing
she's
there.
a big Ryu fan. I love Ryu.
Yeah, and Ryu himself is already the most boring character in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
As in terms of character.
Okay, let's take a break. We take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Injustice Pro series is starting up again, and then we'll go over some tournament results, and I will try to cough out a lung during the break. So.
Alrighty.
Okay, be right back, guys.